right, welcome back, guys. Welcome back, guys. This is going to be a very interesting video specifically for my realtors, real estate agents, those with a real estate agent license. I'm going to go through how you, as a new realtor or a seasoned realtor, can make $1 million in commissions in 1 year. Yes, you heard that. $1 million in commissions in 1 year. I'm going to walk you through it step by step. It's a lot easier than it sounds. So let's get right into it. All right, so um, when I became a realtor, and even prior to becoming a realtor, I wanted to become a realtor because I felt that it would be one of the easiest ways for me to make the capital, make the money that I needed so that I could go on to do other things, to fund other businesses, to start my real estate fund, to fund my affiliate marketing campaigns, and many other things. And so I always thought, like, hey, how do you make $1 million in commissions? At the time, I was living in New Jersey, and what I had realized is that when it comes to selling expensive houses or selling apartment buildings or commercial property, it always seems so difficult to how do you find these sellers and how do you get them to hire you as the listing agent? And I thought about this for a while, probably over a year, maybe even 2 years. And it finally hit me like around 2018, 2019. If you want to make more money in commissions, you have to sell more expensive property. Sounds easy, sounds simple, sounds like common sense, right? But it's easier said than done until you use PropStream. So I'm just going to use let me use Atlanta, Georgia as an example for this tutorial. So $1 million in commissions. The typical percentage commission that a realtor makes is 3.5%. Now they can make up to 6% if they have the listing and if they also find the buyer. But if we just assume that you only have the listing and you don't bring the buyer, or you're waiting on another agent to see your listing in the MLS and bring you a buyer, then you'd have to focus on selling a $3 million house or a $3 million condo or a $3 million property, and at 3.5%, that's 105,000. So to make $1 million, you'd have to sell 10 of those. So how would you find 10 $3 million houses? So if we're in Atlanta, Georgia, and this can go for any city, but I'm just using Atlanta, Georgia as an example. So I'll go into my filter. I'm going to click property details. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to search for residential property, single family homes. All right. Then I'm going to go down to MLS. I want to make sure it's a property that's off market, because if it's already listed with another agent, there's nothing for me to do there. I'm also going to come down to where it says MLS status. And I want to make sure that I find homes that have never been listed since the owner purchased the property, right? Then I'm going to go down to owner information. I'm going to click individual. The reason why I'm going to click individual is because if I click corporate, mixed, or trust, then when I skip trace the information, it's going to bring back LLCs or incorporations where the owner's information is going to be protected, usually under anonymity. So you want to click individual so that you're getting individual people, their phone number, email addresses, mailing addresses, etc. All right, and then I'm going to go to years of ownership. This is probably the most important part. Well, one of the most important part. Years of ownership. So you want to reach out to people who have owned their properties for like a minimum of 10 years. Sometimes I'll go to 15 or even 20, So since we have a lot of properties showing up, let's go to 25. So with the filters that I have so far, I have basically looked at residential property that is single family homes, properties that are off market, so they're not currently listed, and properties that have never been listed since the owner purchased the property. That's what this never listed means. The reason why it's important when you go to owner information is to make sure that this is typed in here correctly So now I know that there's 11,559 properties in Atlanta, Georgia that are off market, that are homes, and that have never been listed since the owner purchased them. So since these owners purchased their property 25 years ago, they have never listed the property for sale. They have never attempted to sell it. That's a great thing. Why is it a great thing? Most likely, when they bought this property 25 years ago in year 2000, they had a family, wife, kids. They bought this house because they were starting a family. Now that it's 25 years later, all of those kids are probably grown up, graduated from college, in their own apartments, maybe started their own families. So now husband and wife are in this big house all by themselves. And they're probably much older. They're probably in their 50s or 60s, maybe even in their 70s or 80s. So now they have this big house that is most likely too big for them. And not only that, in 25 years, there's probably been an immense growth in equity and value in that property. The mortgage is probably paid off, and they're probably sitting on hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars of equity. So we're going to go down to value. And as I just mentioned, equity, we want to see who has at least $3 million in equity in their home. All right, 3 million. So when we put that in, we have 67 properties. That's great. But however, we want more than that. So what I will do is I'm going to go back up to property details, and I'm going to expand it to also include condos and townhouses as well. Okay, cool. All right, it only goes up one more. So let's go down to value and equity. So now we have single family homes and condos owned by individuals that are off market, that have at least $3 million in equity, and that have never been listed in 25 years. We can also go down to this section and say free and clear, just to guarantee that these properties have no mortgage on them. We do that, that brings it down to 38, but no, let's just include the ones that have mortgages and the ones that don't. So now we have 68 properties. Wonderful. These are prime targets for you to solicit to sell their home for many of the reasons that I just mentioned to you. The mortgages could be paid off. At least half of these mortgages are paid off. The owners are probably much older in a house that's just too big for them now. And there's a lot of equity in these properties, a lot of equity. So imagine being 65 years old, all your kids are grown. It's just you and your husband or you and your wife, and that house that you guys bought 25 years ago now has $4.6 million in equity in it, or $3.4 million in equity, or 3.8. We could sell this house and skate off into the sunset with $3.8 million to live the rest of our lives. That is a really good selling point to get a property owner to hire you to be their listing agent. Well, not these guys, because they still have 2.3 million on their property. They probably refinanced. But for the ones that have zero balances and they have high equity, those are the targeted owners you want to go after. So as we usually do, we'll highlight that list, add to a list, and we'll just create a new list. And we'll say ATL never listed in 25 years with over 3 million in equity. You always want to make sure you title the list something that's easy for you to understand, because you don't want it to get lost in the sauce when we save it and it goes over here. All right. Then we're going to save. It's going to take a few seconds and it's going to populate. So now we go over here to my properties, and we go and we search for that list that we just saved. So where is it? Here we go. ATL never listed in 25 years. Let's get this out of here. What's wrong with this? Oh, is this here? Okay. All right. So then we'll go here, highlight the entire list, go to new campaign, skip tracing. It's going to cost us 10 cents per record So if all of these records are available to skip trace, we're looking at spending $6.80. Yep, $6.80, and that gets us the phone numbers, email addresses, landline numbers, and the mailing addresses of all these owners. This is our lead list. Realtors, agents. That's it. That's how you target multi-million-dollar homeowners. Now, if you're in a Miami, a New York City, a Los Angeles, and you put those same parameters, even in Houston or Dallas, you'll probably get a lot more back. But this is the list that you want to reach out to. The way that you get listings for homes that are worth millions of dollars is to only target property owners who have properties worth millions of dollars. So it would cost me $6.80 to get the contact for these 68 people, of which I can cold call them, email them, or my favorite, send them a FedEx letter that requires a signature, or a UPS letter that requires a signature, or a USPS that requires signature certified. They're going to open it 100%. If you get a UPS, a FedEx, or a USPS certified letter in the mail that requires your signature, you're going to think this is very important and you're going to open it. It's like a 100% guaranteed you're going to open it. Nobody throws away a FedEx letter that requires a signature, okay? So I just want to beat that into your head so that you know it's very, very important that if you're trying to target multi-million-dollar homes that are off market, in order for you to be the realtor to list that property as an exclusive seller listing, you want to make sure you're sending correspondence that is going to guarantee they open it. So I would place this order. It will be $6.80. I'm not going to place this order because I don't need that, but I'm just showing you guys this for example's sake. Now let's do a little bit of math. Let me go. If you're focusing on $3 million homes with 3.5% commission, here's the breakdown. Commission per sale on a $3 million homes, 3.5%. That's $105,000 in commission per house. So in order to net $1 million, you'd have to sell 9.5 houses. Of course, you can't sell half a house. So you need to sell 10 homes, and that's $1 million in commissions. It's really that easy. So if you're reaching out to those property owners in the way I just described to you, where you are sending certified mail, FedEx letters, etc., then you're probably guaranteed to get those 68 people to call you back, and all you got to do is close 10 of them to give you the listing. Now, let's just fast forward. You're successful, you get the listing. How now do you find a buyer for it? So, of course, you're going to put it on the MLS, of course. We're always going to do that. But then we're also going to look for cash buyers that are in Atlanta that have spent or have the capacity to spend that much money on a home. And this is how we're going to do it. We're pretty much going to do the same thing that we did to find the property owners, but we're going to reverse engineer it to find the property buyers. So I'll go to filters, and I'll go to owner information. I'm going to click individual value. We'll go down here to estimated equity of value. We don't have to put 3 million here. We can put 1 million because we just want to see that these buyers, these cash buyers that we're about to search, have the capacity to purchase a multi-million-dollar home. So if they have purchased property that currently has $1 million in equity in it, and they're going to buy maybe a personal home from you for $3 million, they're probably not going to buy it in cash. They're probably going to get a mortgage. So if they have properties that have $1 million in equity already, then it's nothing for them to pull out $300,000 to put as a down payment on a mortgage for a multi-million-dollar house, etc. So that's really the only filters we're going to put searching for the cash buyers. Let me just double check. Individual, yeah, let's go up to property details, residential. So that brings us 17,000. So now out of those 17,000, we're going to click on the cash buyers. All right, no, let's go ahead and change that filter again. Oh, yep, see it canceled it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bam, all right. Cool. So now we see. You know what? There's one more filter that we left out. We want to. Let's make sure they've owned the property for like 10 years or something like that. Okay, there we go. Even better. Great. So now we have 556 people that have bought properties in Atlanta, Georgia. Why is it still showing these low prices? So you may have to go through to only select the ones that show capability to buy multi-million dollar properties. So if you see something like this, just ignore it. You don't select it. So we would select this guy and this gal and this guy, etc., etc. So you would do that until you get maybe 100 or 200 or whatever. These are buyers who have bought property in cash for millions of dollars. So they are the avatar of the buyer that you want to solicit to say, hey, I saw you bought 2875 Crescent Parkway, Atlanta for $7.6 million in May of 2014. Not sure. So this happens to be an apartment building. Great. So this is an investor. So you'd want to reach out to a cash buyer like this and say, hey, I have a listing over on 123 Peachtree Road that's $3 million. I'd love for you to come and check it out. And you can send them that through email, text, and also you want to send them a FedEx letter or a UPS letter or certified mail letter as well. The goal is getting high value properties listed and then find cash buyers who have the capability and are qualified to buy multi-million dollar properties. And the way that we do that is by actually finding the data to make sure that they have actually done that before. If they've done it before, they can do it again. If they've done it before, they can do it again, but now with you, and you can get that 3.5% commission and make $1 million in a year, or as quickly as you can sell 10 $3 million houses. So I hope this was very educational and knowledgeable to you guys. Please do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be making about another 90 of these videos. Also sign up for a free trial, free 7-day trial of PropStream so you can do exactly what I just did now. You can have this video in a screen to the left, and then you can log into your PropStream account and just do exactly what I did. Just copy every single step that I did, and you too can do the same thing. Wish best you guys the luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.